Hey, happy Monday. I had to look up and figure out what was going on with a little bit of rain. It's been so long. So that was a great blessing. Last week, and I told this story Sunday, but last Wednesday night I was at church and I got a text from one of our local reporters. And they said, "You've become the topic of discussion on the Attorney General debates." And that's never what you want to get in church. So once I got out and was able to figure it all out, they said no, it was all good. They were all saying how does Horry County do so well on these, and other parts of the state maybe not do as well. Well, I would love to take all of the credit for that. It's really a shared credit. There's a lot to do with our county council. They've always been really good to work with in Horry and Georgetown. We've got really hard-working prosecutors, and we've built up a team or a structure, and we try not to let cases get old, because as they get old, they get harder for us to deal with. Police move on to other places. Victims' memories get shorter. It's always better if we can do it sooner rather than later. That's why we really push these things out. But it got me thinking, since we're not in court this week and it's a different subject, what the Attorney General does for us. The Attorney General's office at times will look like another prosecutor. There are 16 elected prosecutors, solicitors throughout the state. All of them have multiple counties. And then you've got the Attorney General, which you could look at as the 17th solicitor. They do part of that. If we had a person in our office that was a victim, one of the other solicitors or the Attorney General's office would take that case and prosecute it, because, my house got broken into a few years ago. I can't prosecute that case. Even if I could be fair, it wouldn't appear fair. So when there's could be an appearance of favoritism or something like that, we take our hands off of it and we send it to the Attorney General's office, and it goes to a different prosecutor, or it stays in the AG's office. Those are cases that they would handle from the floor up. Those are usually a prosecutor or a secretary who's been victimized, or if somebody in our office got charged with a crime, that would go somewhere else. So that's part of what they do. Another part of what they do is every time we have a case that you read about and a person gets 15, 20, 30, 50 years, they immediately go to prison and start appealing. If their attorney's not doing it fast enough, they'll write them out. And we get pro se appeals, we get attorney's appeals, all of that. The Attorney General's office handles and does a fantastic job doing those cases for us, appealing, because an appeal is basically the defendant saying, I didn't get a fair trial because the prosecutor got something wrong or the judge got something wrong. And they do all of those. They've got one guy that's been there over 50 years. And for my money, they're the best in the state at handling, they're the best in the nation at handling those appeals. Don Zelinka is that guy's name. And they've got a fantastic staff doing that. Once the appeals are over, a second set of appeals start. It's called post-conviction relief, PCR. And that is saying, okay, I lost my appeals at the Court of Appeals. I lost my appeals at the Supreme Court. Now I want to appeal saying the solicitor wasn't so wrong or the judge wasn't so wrong, but my attorney, boy, if he hadn't messed up, that's post-conviction relief. So they're really attacking their own attorney. And our Attorney General's office handles those also. So they do a lot of appeal stuff for us. They also, that's just the criminal side of it. that's basically how they get their cases, through appeals, PCRs, and recusals. But they also do a lot when South Carolina is being sued or South Carolina is suing either the federal government or somebody sort of as a class action type thing. So they have a big appellate section, and they also have a big civil section where if somebody were to pollute the Waccamaw River or the Little PD, or those sort of cases where it's a big company, they may be suing another company for monetary damages. They do that for us also. They also take up federal habeas corpus. You may see guys from the Attorney General's office in Richmond, Virginia at the Court of Appeals, or in in DC at the Supreme Court, and those are federal habeas type issues. So they do an awful lot, and there's other stuff that they do, but that's the things that affect us in the public safety area the most. Have a great week, and we'll get back with you next Monday.